I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nacd.org.
July is the annual store-wide sale at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Come see our diverse selection of wood, gas, or electric fireplace products for indoor and outdoor living. And right now, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can assure you the best price of the season on every product in the store. Let Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces help you choose and experience the joy of sitting by a fire.
Summer is a great time to install your fireplace. You can find your perfect fireplace and have it installed and ready before the cold weather hits again. If you already have a wood fireplace, consider a fireplace insert. Come and see the entire selection at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces on East Franklin and Riverside in Minneapolis. They will create a fireplace that works for you. Efficient, clean burning, and environmentally smart.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, since 1977, out of the ordinary products and services to make fire work for you.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms expected. Some could be severe with a low of 69. Then Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities, plus so much more. Check out Maverick's on Lexington Avenue in Roseville, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Visit their website at mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. A Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. I just want to welcome everybody to listening. We're really proud to bring you this weekly show, 5 days a week, featuring community members who are artists, activists, leaders. Native Roots Radio's unique platform where Indigenous voices are heard, stories are shared, and movements are amplified. And I have somebody that fits right into that description. We have Natasha Kingbird on, and I'm really pleased to have you on, Natasha. Welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Hello, bonjour.
Hey, really excited to have you on. You are, where are you right now?
So right now I'm in Milwaukee. I'm attending the Women's Are Sacred conference that will be held on today. Well, today's registration, and then it'll start tomorrow until the 31st.
Can you talk a little bit about your organization, Mending the Sacred Hoop? Really awesome name, and tell us how it started and a little bit about you. Really excited to have you on.
Yes, so I work for Mending the Sacred Hoop. It's a domestic violence tribal coalition. It was formed, I believe, back in the early 80s, 90s. Conversations were happening about the domestic violence disparities that were happening in tribal communities. And so actually, it's a nonprofit organization. It's based out of Duluth, Minnesota. Right now, we are working from home, and our program helps the 11 the 11 tribes that are based in Minnesota. And we also serve programs that serve majority of Native American women going through their shelters.
Yeah, that's so important. So it's really it's difficult in a lot of senses too. With we're such a small community and everybody knows each other. Um, that must be difficult to really protect them too when you're helping them.
Yes, there's that factor of keeping people anonymous, keeping them hidden. And a lot of women are fleeing, relationships that have affected their daily lives. And so working with the programs, I know a lot of the programs throughout the state of Minnesota um, work towards, keeping their clients safe, and their confidentiality is one of their main priorities that shelters kind of look at.
Yeah, it's really interesting too for me, being a pet owner, and our pet is our family. Is it difficult to help and support our relatives that have pets?
So actually in Minnesota, I believe that there's a pet coalition, and you can look them up. I actually just learned about them at the Office of Justice program symposium that they had in Brooklyn Center this past, I think it was in June. But there's actually a pet coalition. You can reach out, and they try to find resources for your pet as well.
So I always like to talk about a call to action. Is there a website? Is there how can people find more information about you? We have a
So,
vast
yes.
amount of people in the community listening.
So right now, Mending the Sacred Hoop has the website on Facebook. Well, we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we also have a website. If you go to mshoop.org, our membership is free, and you would receive like free trainings, emails, and updates on any updated legislation, conversations that are happening within the state of Minnesota. We are one of the Native tribal coalitions within the state of Minnesota, along with the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Yeah, we know them very well here. I'm in the Twin Cities, and what a great organization they are. And so, are we having issues with funding with the cuts that are happening, or are people able to uh, donate and support your organization?
Yes, we do have a donation. If you go to our webpage, it brings you to our donate page. I do have a donate button on my email, but yes, we are always looking for donations. I know that Mending the Sacred Hoop, during COVID, they were, working through all of the pandemic stuff, trying to keep their doors open. But I know that the domestic violence is separate from the sexual assault coalition, but we really want to focus on, training and providing assistance to tribal programs that need extra support on, policy or procedures, implementing new techniques to their clients. I'm big on culture, so I like to teach a little bit about culture and making sure that they're rooted in values and traditions. But we're always looking for funding. I know that Mending the Sacred Hoop would appreciate some funding and help with some of the unallocated costs that are not written into our grants.
Well, it's amazing. One of the things that I often wonder and I ask when we have organizations like yours on, is there a mending with the abuser? Now that's kind of I don't know. That's kind of a hard question to ask because we really don't want to minimize the person that's being abused and really work on their healing. But there's that other side too that is out there. How does that fit?
Well, I think that's a big part of healing. When we talk about the abuser, prior to my work here at Mending the Sacred Hoop, I worked at Northwest Indian Community Development Center as a reentry lead, and we facilitated men who batters intervention groups. I co-facilitated with Donald Fairbanks, and we facilitated the Family Peace Initiative curriculum, and it helped men kind of go over a 28 weeks course, I believe, and learn different tools to, be in community, deal with their anger, do healing work. And I know that the Duluth model as well, they provided a batters intervention group, but my experience with that was bringing men into a group, about 18 to 20 men, and focusing on working on trying to heal from some of the traumas that they might have endured as a youth. And I think that incorporating, our SEMA and using our Apuagan and bringing in some of those extra spiritual helpers that help us when we're doing those work, we can get to the core of what they might be dealing with. And so I think that's a important factor. And I know that Mending the Sacred Hoop has reached out to different programs that are actually, implementing groups for men who batter.
Wow, that's really interesting. And that's really a powerful statement that you just said there. Do you mind? We're going to take a quick break. Do you mind jumping on and talking a little more in another segment?
Yes.
Well, this is awesome. We have Natasha Kingbird mending the sacred hoop, and we're talking about healing and ways about it, and also helping our relatives that really need help. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after this short break. Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, we have our friend Natasha Kingbird here of Mending the Sacred Hoop, and we're kind of talking about healing and how we can protect and help our relatives. Natasha, what would you like to tell our audience that it's listening out there? Something that you think that should really be said about this and also your organization.
Well, I think, our organization really works with the membership program so they can provide the best care to the people that are coming into their shelters um, and actually just giving them information that they can use as tools to help guide them in the right direction. And a lot of these ladies that been in this movement have been in there for years, and sometimes it's a good refresher for women to kind of go over different things. And nowadays we have a lot more people that are being affected by abuse, domestic violence, and sexual assault. There's also like sex trafficking, there's stalking, there's teen dating violence, and there's a lot of resources out there that help people. I know that I just created a resource list, and I was amazed by how many resources there are across the United States and Turtle Island. We also have, phone links that you can call, 1-800 numbers. I think one is like Strong Native Helpline. And if you just Google it and you go to, domestic violence resources, that will bring up a lot of resources for anybody that may be experiencing violence or sexual assault. I know that in the past, working with Native American women coming home from incarceration, and a lot of those women never reported what was happening just because of the stigma that happens in our communities and within our communities. But, there is people out there that will help you and try to show you the way out of those kinds of relationships or those kinds of situations that you're in. I read about the Inspire Award that the Violence Free Minnesota hosts yearly, and just reaching out and making that extra connection and stepping into a place where you might be able to save somebody by going that extra step is really what's needed for community that might be enduring that kind of situation. So just going the extra step.
Where can you get that list that you talk about? Is it Strong Hearts phone line? Is that
Native, Strong Hearts Native Helpline. I believe that's on, the website. When I was creating our resource list, I just really just Googled Native American resources for people that are in domestic violence situations or sexual assault situations.
Yeah, I know we've had Strong Hearts on many times, and one of the interesting things is that they're so anonymous, and they're open a lot longer now too. So everyone take a look at that. So I always want to, because this is your boots on the ground. I always want to ask my guests, like you, Natasha, what do you do for yourself? How do you keep? I don't know if the word's sane, but spiritually fit to be able to help people.
Yes. I put out my tobacco. I love making moccasins for people. I attended my first Medewan ceremony last week, so I really try hard to step into a place where I can feel my spirit. I go to powwows. I attend drum ceremonies fall and spring. Our family is really big on singing, the Kingbird singers. And young Kingbird. Yeah, and so I sit on 2 drums, Jawanang Benesi and Minoba Madiziwan, which all come from, Panema, where I'm from. So I really enjoy being in those spaces and taking that time for myself to heal. And sometimes we think about healing. It might take years, it might take a day, but I think if you're living a good life and, filling your heart and letting go of some of those negative things that you might have carried, you'll get there. And so those are the things that I try to practice. I currently take care of my nieces, kids. I actually, like, my kids are growing older. They're all moving out of the house. I have 5 that have graduated, and I have one son who's actually really big on fishing and learning how to try the traditional things that, is needed for our young men. So just being a part of that and seeing my nieces and nephews be happy helps fill my heart with joy.
That's awesome. That's really awesome, and that's a plethora of things. Wow. Again, it's got to be hard to see people go through this. So, are you able to see people kind of get your help, but also come through the other side and work on their healing?
Yes, I've seen that. Mending the Sacred Hoop, we have some direct service funds. It varies year to year, but I do see people getting their life back. I see people getting their children back. I see people, graduating from college and, finding long-term employment. And so when I see people being appreciative for, something that I might have helped them with just a little bit, I know that when they find their gift and their passion to stay sober or step into a place where they don't need to rely on, somebody, it's, I feel good about it, and I'm proud of them, and that's their story, and I never try to step in a place where I'm taking away any of their story, and I'm just a helper.
Yeah, a conduit to the creator and all good things. That's very cool, Natasha. And what else can we talk about? Because you're very well spoken, and I feel like we've talked about a lot of things. What else would you like to talk about?
Well, so we help organize the MMIW 218 group up in Bemidji. So it's a group of 8 to 10 women. We organize events, twice a year. And sometimes we'll hold like healing spaces for women in families that have gone missing. And, that's something that I've been really active in and involved in. And under the scope of Mending the Sacred Hoop, we've been attending events throughout the state of Minnesota on missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. Me and my daughter actually went out to Elko, Nevada, and was able to present in their community, the Shoshone community in Elko, Nevada. So we did a presentation out there on the intersection of domestic violence and MMIR. It was more of discussion and kind of like answered some of the questions. Why do we wear red? Why was this formed? Why is this movement here? This past year, I've been directly impacted. Well, the past few years, been kind of really directly impacted by losing a loved one, loss of missing persons. And so I think with being in our community and being able to step forward and help other families like through some of the hardest times in their lives is just something that community does. We step up and we go in a space to help those families during this tough time. And so I think that's really important. And I know right now I'm sitting on the Minnesota Missing and Murdered Task Force Advisory Board with the Department of Justice office that was just opened in the Twin Cities. And, it's a big thing for our communities. And I think, there's so many unanswered questions out there that people have, for missing and murdered. And I know that the office is limited on funds too. So, I think a lot of these programs are really just getting through what's on their goals and objectives and their deliverables. But sometimes we forget about, that healing that needs to take place. And so we try to have cedar ceremonies, and we try to have like talking circles or bring healers their way and help with just little bit costs that, they're unable to cover.
Wow. So you're a doer, and I think we have a mutual friend that's Guadalupe, that's going to be a mover and a shaker again back here in the Twin Cities and all over the state of
Yes.
Minnesota.
Yes. I've known Guadalupe for the past few years. She's amazing. She's a strong voice that we need in the office. And I think that with her experience leading Violence Free Minnesota, she'll be able to do a great job. She's actually the one who gave me a call today and was like, "Are you available to talk?" And I left my home around 5 this morning, and I picked up one of my good friends in Mille Lacs, so she rode over with us. And of course, my daughter's in the back seat, but she's back there too. But just having those good conversations and helps us get to that healing space. And I know that Guadalupe has a lot of energy right now. My current executive director, Cinnamon Banky, has been holding it down with Mending the Sacred Hoop, trying to just push forward on some of these issues that we have in Indian country. And so she's been really supportive on all of those ladies, been really supportive on trying to help our communities.
Thank you so much for being on. This was really great, and I'd love to have you on again and talk about your events that you do twice a year. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Big Peenagee, Natasha, Kingbird,
right,
of Mending Our Sacred Hoop. Up next, Dr. Stately of Native American Community Clinic. You're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Thank you.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. Over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Margaret Cho is coming to Minneapolis, and she's not holding back. Choligarchy is Margaret Cho's new comedy tour that's tackling power, privilege, and the madness of modern America. Frustrated with the State of the Union? Well, so is Cho. She's turning that rage into her most blistering, brutally honest show yet, taking on racism, homophobia, and sexism with her signature wit and fearless comedy. Don't miss Margaret Cho at the Fillmore in Minneapolis on Thursday, March 26th, 2026. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com.
You can't have too much pride, and Fargo Moorhead Pride is proving it again this year, August 8th through 11th. It's one of the region's largest pride celebrations, drawing people from across Minnesota, the Dakotas, and even Canada. Just a little over 3 hours from the Twin Cities, you'll find 4 days packed with celebration, community, and fun at Fargo Moorhead Pride. It all kicks off Thursday, August 8th with a family fun night, trivia, and a karaoke party. Then Friday features an all-ages drag show and a high-energy dance party. Saturday brings a 5K fun run, patio palooza, and the big Pride Block Party. And on Sunday, everything wraps up with an interfaith service and the Pride Parade through downtown Fargo. Pride in the Park is one of the weekend's biggest events, offering food trucks, community vendors, and live entertainment everyone can enjoy. Make the road trip and show your pride at Fargo Moorhead Pride, August 8th through the 11th. Full schedule and details at fmpride.com.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblat. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblat from Shamblat Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms expected. Some could be severe with a low of 69. Then Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities, plus so much more. Check out Maverick's on Lexington Avenue in Roseville, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Visit their website at mavericksbeef.com. ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with Dr. Stately, who is the CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and always great to spend some time with you. Did you make it okay with the storm last night? Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, that was a crazy storm. It was huge.
Yeah, glad you made it back. You were coming from the Dakotas, right?
Yeah, from South Dakota. So we're in like Rosebud for 3 days, and then we swung through Crow Creek on the way home. Crow Creek Res, where my son's sister lives.
Very cool.
With their grandmother. She had a baby shower. She's pregnant with twins. Two little girls, chickpeas. So exciting.
You have a big sacred family there with the twin boys, and now the relatives with the twins, and then me with twins, and I have grand twins, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have a lot of twins in my family on both sides, on my family side, and also on my partner's side. So it's kind of all those little checkpas. It's like a blessing.
That is a blessing. So I gotta ask you, how are things going with the clinic? I know you're giving us some updates every once in a while, and I've been to the Four Sisters Market every week, and I get to look down the street and see the work being done. It must be really exciting.
It's very exciting. Yeah, we keep making more progress every week. Like I think last week was a little bit challenging. Last couple of weeks were some challenges with like just the impact of rain and a few other things. But we're on schedule. I think we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. But very exciting. It's exciting to see that big crane. Did you notice the flags on the crane?
Yeah, we talked about that the last show. It's just like, hey, put those flags upside down. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. I mean, we did talk about this, I think. And I can't remember if we talked about it online, but not. But actually, they had like the American flag up there by itself. And then we were like, oh, God, okay, put the Minnesota flag at least. We talked about like the AIM flag, but that also was like probably a non-starter. But that now up there is the American flag, and then NAC's insignia, our flag. That little tiny white one that's much smaller than the American flag is ours.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if you need an AIM flag, I got an extra one. Oh, wow.
We just might take it actually. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, we love to know. It'd be an honor.
We talked about putting an AIM flag up there.
Yeah.
If you look at the crane is really huge. It's long. It's like super long. I was like, well, technically, we could probably put all 11 tribal flags, like in each one of those little squares.
Well, it'd be cool is if you put the flags up of the tribes that financially supported you. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that would be great.
The
two No, I'm sure we got support in other ways. Like some folks didn't give financial support, but they support us in other ways on the project. I mean, so but we're going to be raising funds for the project for a few years still.
Yeah, well, whatever we can do here in Native Roots Radio, please let us
Yeah,
help
yeah.
you for sure. We
Well,
can have a dunk tank or something, maybe.
I
Dr.
was
Steve.
thinking about putting you in a dunk tank this summer. Actually, perfect weather for you to be in one right here on Franklin Avenue.
I could wear one of those loincloths they have in the movies. Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I don't know. We do want people to come.
Hey, now. Hey.
Just kidding. No,
So,
yeah.
I see that you've been you're part of the ambassadors mental or NABS health ambassador. Can you talk a little
The
bit about
Native American boarding school projects has a
Yes.
ambassadors program, and it's me and I think 5 other elders, I think, or 4 other elders, technically,
Mhm.
providing support to a project that they're doing that's focused around engaging and utilizing the arts in healing, from boarding school trauma. Examples, there's going to be a series of workshops that that NABS has hired to uh, lead art workshops for folks in the community who have been harmed or hurt or have been impacted by boarding school experiences as survivors, and I would imagine also their decedents. And I think it's a really beautiful project. I was asked by a colleague and a woman I know, Serene, to be on their advisory board. And it's really like exciting. I think in this first iteration, I get to sit in on at least 2 or 3 of the workshops and be a participant, but also sort of kind of give support to them in the implementation of it. It's just exciting, and I think it's a really beautiful project. It's it's wonderful because I think one of the things that we know this, I think, intuitively, and but we don't often speak about it in really concrete terms. But a lot of our like our traditional practices, like making regalia, beading, crafting, those kinds of things, all these things that we sort of, that we constitute as art forms, in Western culture. These are just things that we've done since the beginning of time. I was having an experience. I had a conversation with this person who I said, we don't art isn't something that we just make and hang on the wall, although we do that now contemporaneously. But as historically, we made everything around us and everything that we wore and everything that we utilized. We put beauty into it, right?
Mhm.
It's artistic and beautiful because we understand the importance and the function of embracing beauty and having that be a part of our everyday life, reminding us. It's a way of reminding ourselves of the beauty around us and the gifts that Creator has given us. It's a way of reminding us to be grateful for the fact that we're here and we have abundance. And so that's the function of art in our historically and traditionally in our culture. We all kinds of things, like our floral designs that everybody loves. I think they're really beautiful. Those are ways that we kept track of, codified, and transmitted knowledge around traditional plant medicines and those kinds of things. They They are both beautiful, and they serve a form. They serve an intention. They serve a teaching tool, and the restoration of and the continuation of our knowledge, and also making sure that that knowledge is passed down to other forms of storytelling. That's not just oral storytelling, but actually, through pictographs and things like that. So it's just kind of like it's an opportunity to sort of embrace this idea, like we can use these things that we've been given since the beginning of time to apply to our own healing individually, but collectively in workshops. These are things that we've been doing at NAC, even in a lot of our traditional healing programming work that we do. And we have a beating group that we do at the NAC, at the Outpatient Mental Health Center and stuff like that. So.
This last 3 minutes that you talked were very heavy. That was beautiful. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. I didn't intend it to be heavy. I intended it to be informative.
Maybe I'm too emotional, but that really.
Well, I was thinking about when I was younger, when I was a younger kid, and I was really struggling in my life as an adolescent. Like I would say, when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way up until I went to college around 16. And I wrote a lot. I was part of this group called Redwood Song. That was me, Sandra King, Chuck Robertson, and Sherry Benton Benet, who was married to Eddie Benton Benet at the time. And I was we kind of all how it happened was the four of us all worked at Red Circle, the Red Schoolhouse in St. Paul, and Sandy and I worked together on a quarterly magazine that Red Schoolhouse published. And then the four of us just sort of realized Sherry was an incredible singer. She had a beautiful voice. I thought she was I was so taken by her. We're still connected to each other through Facebook, but I was just impressed by her. I was like, good Lord, she's a better singer than Buffy St. Marie. And my uncle Chuck Robertson, who worked at the Indian Center and also did some stuff at Red Schoolhouse, played guitar and sang, and then Sandy wrote poetry, and I read poetry, and so we were kind of this performance group. And that was a part of me that the participation of that really led to helping me sort of work through a lot of the challenges that I had. I got out of boarding school at the age of 11 and 12, and my adolescence was really, really filled with a lot of struggle trying to make sense of that and writing and performing and talking about it was really helpful.
Wow. Well, I had no idea. Again, this is amazing. This is your life, Dr. Stately. Hey, stay with us for another segment. And this has been a beautiful show here. Thank you so much. This is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Oh, wow.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nacd.org.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. The month of July is National Carpet Cleaning Month, and because of that, Zero Res is offering a purchase of 3 rooms of carpet cleaned. Get 1 room free plus $50 off an air duct cleaning. Maybe you're having a barbecue for the 4th of July. We'll also have Aquatennial coming up in Minneapolis later this month. You want to make sure your home is fresh and clean for your friends and family coming over to celebrate. If your carpet's looking more like a snowbank in late March, muddy, crunchy, and kind of mysterious, it's time to call Zero Res, don't you know? These folks come in with their fancy schmancy ZR water. It's like regular water, but with a master's degree in cleanliness. Zero Res can handle it all. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, air ducts, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res today. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-0-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, we'd like to start out our last segment of the show with a howl for our relatives, the wolves. Let's give a big howl out there. Howl! Thank you, Dr. Stately. Hey, we're here with Dr. Stately, CEO and president of Native American Community Clinic. And I don't think you're president. Let me take that back, because you are CEO and the main man. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I got the title of president and CEO, but yeah. And actually, we see executive officer now. We dropped the chief a while ago. So
the chief, yeah.
We kicked the chief across the board. Everybody lost their title of chief.
Well, that's cool. I was at a parent committee meeting years and years ago, and not knowing what's going on, I mean, kind of like now, but in a different way. I was talking to the parent committee, the Native Parent Committee, and I said, we have to circle the wagons, and everyone looked at me and was like, "Oh my God, what the heck am I saying?" And they all looked at me, thought I was joking because they knew I was a joker, but it was just like, oh, well, let me take that back. It's like all these terms, where the hell did they come from?
Yeah, well, just what's her name? Yeah, there's a lot of like those what do they call them? I guess they're just like things that we've adopted over the years, like low man on the totem pole. I remember when somebody said to me, like, "Oh, are you just the low man on the totem pole?" I was like, actually, if you knew something about Indians, you'd know that the low man on the totem pole is actually the leader.
Well,
and yes, I am actually the low man on the totem pole.
Well, and what's funny too, when it comes to like generic Native terms, you had a school in St. Paul that kind of had, I was always threatened as a young kid that they'd send me to Totem Town because I was acting up, and they had a big totem pole there, and it's like, we don't have totem poles here as Plains Indians.
No, or woodlands even. Yeah, like that's not
right.
something, not our culture. It's it's like just about it. It's like it's the nature of systemic racism, right? Where like you only see the things that you want to see, and you only you pay attention to the things that stand out or the things that everybody kind of talks about. You don't dive deeper into sort of kind of trying to build a sense of knowledge and understanding about actually the people that live near you and around you. I mean, everybody loves natives, which is actually, this makes me funny, and this cracks me up. So I say this all the time when people walk up to me and be like, "Oh, I just love Indians, or I love Native people." And Sandy King, who was a friend, a longtime friend and colleague and collaborator in Redwood and Song, and we also worked at she was the the editor of the Circle newspaper when I was working there as a young man. But one of the poems she wrote, and she would recite in our things where she would say, you know, or one of the things she would do in our events, she had a song or a poem, and I don't remember the name of the poem, but I remember this one line because I thought it was really witty and also very creative and also very telling. The line was something like, "Don't tell me you love Indians, even I know if you worth hating." And I was like, yes, that tracks. Right. And
Yeah.
and then the other, you know, I think about, you know, that reminds me of also the line from Marcy Rendon's poem called "What's an Indian Woman to Do?" Do you know that poem?
No,
I
no.
was at a reading, and it's a poem she had. She has a collection of poetry. You can buy that book. I believe at Birchbark Books. But it was one of my favorite poems of hers. And she says, "What's an Indian woman to do when the white women are more Indian than you?" And it reminds me of, like, you know, like the people who sort of like they hang around Indians, or they marry into Native families, or they've been around Indians for a period of time, or they sort of like they read a book or two, you know, by you know, Marianne Williamson or somebody else who's, you know, a new ager. And then they assume, and they, through sort of like, you know, I think probably possibly good intentions, but also like they don't dive deeper into sort of really beginning to understand and know the culture as much. But they do these things in these situations where, like, you know, we think that all Indians are alike. We all wore headdresses, and we all, you know, had teepee totem poles outside of our homes, and we all did a thing. And and what is problematic about that is if you actually don't take the time to get to know the people that live in and around your community, in and around where you live and where you socialize and where you spend time, and you spend time with them. If you don't actually take the time to know them, then they're nothing more than just a curio. You know, it's the same thing as kind of collecting, you know, oriental rugs and putting them on the wall, and it's the same thing as, you know, collecting those little eggs, those little stackable eggs, or all those other things. And the thing that's problematic about that is that it dehumanizes us and personalizes us, right? And when you take the time to sort of like, when you don't take the time to get to know people and actually develop relationships, it makes it easier to when you do dehumanizing, it makes it easier to do things like, you know, deport them and their children out of the country. Makes it easier for you to enact cultural and actual physical genocide. And so part of it is just so like making sure that we tell people, like, you know, if you want authenticity, and you want a real relationship, and you want to actually know people, spend time with them and get to know who they are and what their culture is and what their specific ways of practicing those things are. Understand that and have a better understanding and a strong understanding of it. And that's actually a really beautiful foundation to build a relationship on.
Well, I blame all those old movies, and there was
Yes.
a documentary that came out many years ago, about 2009, called Real Indians, and funny, they talked about the reason why they wore what they did was the headbands and everything was to keep the wig on, and to
Yeah.
its representation of where the natives came from.
Well, I remember, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so many of the things that have become sort of normalized in our culture are also, some of them are byproducts of the things that we had to do to adapt to sort of the forces of colonization within our daily lives and are around us, right? An example is, I remember somebody once told me that, you know, there was a day when we didn't dance the way that we dance today. hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There was no such thing as fancy dancing, and
Mhm.
and we had a different way in which we sort of like danced and had and held in that space. But as time evolved and things evolved and the influence of colonization, fancy dancing was something that was created to sort of like, entertain the white people, so they'd come into our communities and watch, and they'd spend time and they'd spend money, and they'd cultivate, they'd invest in our communities a little bit.
They went away with the dinosaur clan. Oh,
Sort of, yes, and nowadays they go to powwows and they spend $15 on an Indian taco, and they have no clue that it only costs 10 cents to make it. That's capitalism at its finest.
like I want to buy a t-shirt. I got a t-shirt on right now. Hey, Dr. Stately, thank you so much for coming on. As always a pleasure. And again, I learned a little more about you, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. Take care, everyone.
Hey, it's Native Roots Radio, right on. It's Native Roots Radio. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Ho! Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place